The Houston Texans have something that we didn't expect. Now, if you've been watching this channel, we've been high on the Houston Texans. We've been saying that they're going to be better than most people think, and they have been. CJ Stroud's been great, and he's been a big time story. But I'll get to something else that nobody expected, and it's a really big reason behind their early success. If you're new to the channel, we make videos for teams that don't get the love nationally like they should. Texans a perfect example. Seems like they get overshadowed by the Cowboys, or it's just, I don't know. Then and nobody thought they were going to be good. In the last few years, they haven't been. We're Detroit Lions fans, so we know all about it. We know all about, like, nobody really takes you serious, and it's like you got a new coach, and it's just, it's like, come on. The Houston Texans have something: good coach, good quarterback, good culture. But here's the thing that we've seen through 4 games. And by the way, they got a huge game coming up that I just think is going to be really tell us, are they good or are they like not, right? So, but we'll get to that in just a second. But here's what they got. One of the highlights so far, quarter way through the season, is the run defense is not that bad. Let's take a look at some numbers here. A major liability in the 2020s, so 2020, 21, 22, for the last 3 years, is they cannot stop the run. And they say here, look, while the modern offense is passing game, you cannot forget about the run. Let's just pause right there. That's one of the things I love about football, and why I think football, as much as it evolves, and this is my big theory, right? I can't wait to share it. While the offenses evolve and football as a whole evolves incredibly. I mean, just look back 30 years ago at a football game versus now. But why is it's still just like the core is still there? Because you have to be able to run the football and stop the run. That is football. And then the other stuff is obviously really important, and passing is really changed, but it doesn't matter if you're high school, college, pro, in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It doesn't matter what era. You've got to be able to stop the run. Otherwise you're going to be in for a long day. If you can't stop the run, you're in for a long day. There it is. For Houston, especially last season, they could not stop the run for anything. They surrendered the most yards on the ground last season, allowing an unheard of 170 yards per game. So you are just going to struggle so much. So this season, through 4 games, they're at 117 yards per game on the ground. So look, this is not best in the league by any means, but this places them in the middle of the pack for the league. This is what, as Lions fans, we said for years was like, that's all we want to be. We just want to be middle of the pack. Give yourself a chance. If you are getting just gashed for 170 yards a game, you have no chance. You want this to be right around 100 yards. That'd be a little bit better, but hey, you'll take it. We're middle of the pack. We've got a good quarterback. We've got a chance. So while their defense, however, the team, even with their 0-2 start against the running like Baltimore and Indy, did not complete gashing on the ground relative to last season. So when they were 0-2, Baltimore and Indy did not gash them like they have in the past. So it'll be hard to match 2018 season when they held teams to 83 yards. That's really good. But the whole point of this that we didn't expect was, hey, middle of the pack, stopping the run. And I'll get back to just one other thing here in a second as we get through the quarter of the way with the Houston Texans. But again, if you've been following this channel, you know that we really like the Houston Texans. We really think that they're going to be a lot better than people think. And we were hoping CJ Stroud would play well. Check. D'Amico Ryans has got the culture buzzing a little bit. Check. Right? We've seen that with the Lions, what that does. But defensively, we were like, okay, defensively, you got to just be better. You have to be. And if you are, then you can win 7, 8, 9 games. And then on top of that, this division is, I don't know. I mean, this division's wide open. We kind of said that from the beginning. And it is. The division is wide open. And you've got a huge game this Sunday with the Atlanta Falcons. And so you want to talk about stop the run with Bijan Robinson. You can't let him get going. Can they hem him in a little bit and beat this Atlanta team that's in a very similar spot? Young quarterback. They've got playmakers. They're not really fully where they want to be, but they're like, we're not terrible. Like, they're 2-2. So both teams 2-2. It's like, what do we got here? So the winner of this game, I will believe in. And what? Believe in to win the Super Bowl? No, but I believe in them. Like, they're actually legit enough to win a couple more, couple balls bounce their way, win a couple close games, going to be in it at the end. And next thing you know, you win 8-9 games, win the division, and have a home playoff game. That's not out of the question. So I love the Houston Texans. I love that they've found some things to go along with CJ Stroud. Of course, the biggest story is CJ Stroud, but you need other things. So, for example, my guy, Nico Collins, Michigan guy. I love Michigan. Watched him at Michigan, obviously, and he was a stud, but he never got the ball because Michigan at the time wasn't really a passing offense, and they didn't have a quarterback, and they had a bunch of wide receivers that were really good. But Nico Collins was like a pro wide receiver. You could tell right away in college, but he just didn't have an opportunity to really get the ball. And so to see him be the guy now is really cool, and to have an opportunity to run around out there with a quarterback that's this is the first time he's ever had a quarterback in his career. I mean, he had Shea Patterson at Michigan, terrible. He's had bounce around guys at his career of Houston Texans. And so to see Nico really shining is awesome. But I think the story, obviously CJ Stroud, but then when you see the ability of the Houston Texans to not be getting gashed, like that's just the thing. Don't get gashed. If you're going to get gashed, forget it. You're going to win 2 games. I mean, you're just going to win 2 games. But if you can just keep your team in the game and then you have a good quarterback, life is good. So again, if you're new to the channel, we make videos for teams that don't get the love nationally like they should. So we've been really covering teams like Houston, Indy, Atlanta, who else? Cleveland, Detroit. We have our own channel and Sports Talk Detroit. Check that out. The Lions are buzzing. Don't mean to talk about the Lions so much. I don't usually do that, but it's a lot of correlation. I've seen exactly what the Houston Texans are doing. I've seen that the last couple of years really play out, where you got to have the coach, you got to have the quarterback. Like that's welcome to football, right? And then you got to stop the run, and that's the order you got to do it. So if you got the quarterback, you will figure everything else out eventually. If you don't have a quarterback, just forget it. But if you got a quarterback and you've got a coach that guys are just like D'Amico Ryans, just look at him. You're like, yeah. And you listen to him, like, yeah, I'll follow you, man. I love this guy. I'll play hard for you. I want to do well. I want to listen to what you're saying. You're a former player, you know. Same with Dan Campbell. It's like, yeah, man. I mean, it's this, I don't know. It's so not hard. But it is, though, right? It's hard to find the right coaches and the right things and the whole thing. But it's not that hard to find the right coach, and it's hard to find the quarterback, but you've got the coach, the quarterback, everything's headed in the right direction for the Houston Texans, and they're on the right path. And that's the big thing with them, is they'll continue to get better. Nucleus will continue to get going. And I like everything about the Houston Texans. I want a Houston Texans jersey, actually. I know. I actually want one. So someone send me one. That'd be sweet. All right, we'll see everyone on the next one. See ya.